This is where I come to walk almost every morning, and I have for years. So you'd think that by now I know this place very well. And yet, yesterday I found something that blew my mind and that can teach us a lot about photography. You see, during my morning walk yesterday, at some point I had to pee. So I crossed a little bridge over this channel that is here, and I found a good spot for that. But as I was, doing my thing, I realized that in front of me there was a blueberry bush, and I had never seen blueberries around here before. I was very excited because I have blueberries for breakfast every morning, but sadly since then I've learned that they are not blueberries, they are blackthorns or sloes, whatever. They don't taste nearly as good. They leave you with a very dry mouth. Apparently they are good for cooking, but not so good eaten raw. But anyway, the point is that after I found that bush, I was looking around to see if I could find more, because I still thought at that point that they were blueberries, and I started seeing them everywhere because they are everywhere. Now I don't know if the fruit just came out recently or it's been like this for weeks, but it doesn't matter. I didn't realize until yesterday, and that shows the tricks that our mind, our brains play on ourselves, because when we are in a place that is familiar to us, like this one that I come here almost every day, it knows that it's a safe place, so it wants to disconnect and focus on something else, like the tasks that you have to do later in the day or whatever. Your mind is filtering out what it already knows, because there is nothing to be found there until there is. It wasn't until I saw the first bush that I started seeing all of the other ones. And that blew my mind, because that's something that is right here, it's not even 10 feet away. It's right here next to the path that I take every day, and I had never seen this before. And this is very important, something that we need to keep in mind, because it affects our photography. Because when we are trying to find images in places that we know very well, places that are very familiar to us, we need to be aware about the tricks that our mind is playing on us and the things that it's filtering out, because we know the place. And that's why when we travel, especially when we go to a country with a very different culture from the one that we are used to, everything looks new to us, even the tiniest things like mailboxes or the fire hydrants or fences, power lines, traffic signs, everything literally looks different. Our brain is not filtering that out because it's something new. It's not sure if it's safe or not, so we should pay attention just in case. But if we live in that place, if we move to that place, a few years down the road, we're gonna get so used to those things that our brain is gonna start filtering them out. The novelty fades away, basically. And that is a big problem for photography, because if we don't see what it's out here, like it happened to me, that I missed those fake blueberries for who knows how long, and it made me think, what else am I missing? What else is here that I'm not seeing? And that's why I like to say that I didn't discover my hometown, this place, until I moved out to the US, until I lived there for several years, until I came back with a camera and I saw this place almost anew. That's why many times a photographer that comes from other place and gets to spend some time where we are used to take photos might see something that we had never realized it was there, that we had never seen before, because they came with a pair of fresh eyes. So how can we fix this? How can we notice what's around us? This is why I am so thankful of having my lifestyle, because I get to spend a few months here in Spain, a few months in the US, and then I get to travel for a few months every year as well. So I'm never in one place for too long, so my brain doesn't get that used to that location. So when I come back, everything is relatively new, And still I get to spend enough time to go deeper than just being for a couple days in one location. This approach is not perfect though, it has limitations because I already know these places, so after 2-3 weeks I get used to them again. And of course not everyone can do this. So one thing that came to my mind when I saw the blueberries for the first time and when I started noticing all the other bushes after I saw that first one is something that I read a few years ago on a book called The Art of Noticing. In one of the chapters, the author suggested to pick something, whatever it is. It could be power lines, it could be blackthorns, it could be fire hydrants, it could be mailboxes, it could be antennas. This is something that I've been doing lately. I'm paying attention to the antennas on top of the buildings and houses around here. I believe this is how my No project began. I'm just taking photos of all the signs, stop signs, no signs, prohibiting signs, all that kind of stuff, and now I see them when I walk by them or drive by them, and it's something that I notice very easily because I'm more aware. I taught my brain to pay attention to those things. I do the same with other things like bus stops on the countryside. So this is the exercise for you. Pick one thing, do not overthink this, it doesn't really matter, it's just an exercise. It might become a project down the road, that'd be great, but if it doesn't matter. It's just about learning how to notice, about learning how to see, how to find images. Ideally, it'd be something neither too common nor too rare, so you can still find them every once in a while, you don't get discouraged, but it's still a little bit of a challenge to find that thing. And ideally, it's something that you can find on your everyday life, going to work, going to the grocery store, going for a walk, or whatever. So you can practice this exercise every day, and ideally, you'd bring a camera with you to take photos of that thing. But even if you don't have that camera, even if you don't take photos, just noticing those things is what matters here. Anyway, I hope the video was useful. Now I'm gonna finish my walk and go home and have breakfast with real and good blueberries. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.